Week 8 is over, okay? It's done and dusted. It's time to start looking at Week 9, and best way to do that is by looking at waiver wire targets. So we're going to give you some on the show today. Let's get straight to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
All right. Okay. Welcome in to the FantasyLand Football Podcast. Hope you are having a beautiful Tuesday morning. Badaki, your Tuesday morning,
my
maybe
Tuesday
not so beautiful.
Look, it's actually the opposite, you know, after kind of reflecting about the game, looking back at it. I'm actually pretty proud. Obviously, you see me wearing a Saquon Barkley jersey is because I think they played so well. I think that obviously they had miscues. You know, Danny Dimes missed a couple balls. Defense played well. The offensive line played tremendous. I think it's something good to look forward for the future. You know, that's the Giants I believe in.
Yeah, I got a question for you because I was thinking about this as I was watching the game. Is Danny Dimes the guy, or is it time to start looking at alternative options in the draft? Is it too early? Is it too early to say?
Look, I think it's still too early to say. This is still, you know, his first year on the Jason Garrett offense. You know, he's still coaching him. He's still trying to bring him up. I don't know if anyone's watching the game. There was all about these talks about how he is really talented. He is really, you know, he's precise and he loves the game. But his biggest mental block is himself. So he needs to figure it out for himself. I think once he figures that out, I think he could be a great player. I don't know if he'll be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I just think he could be a good player at least.
Right. And I guess the hot topic, was it the right call? The last play. Danny Dimes drove it down the field. The 2-point conversion play. Was it pass interference? Was it not? It was called pass interference. One of the refs threw a flag.
Yeah.
But they got in their little huddle and they were, hey, boys, what are we going to do here? And obviously no flag on the field.
No.
I got my opinion. I want to hear your opinion as a New York Giants fan.
I mean, look, obviously as a fan, I'm a bit biased. I think it was not enough to overturn. That's what I believe. I think they huddled. They have a little thing. Obviously, if maybe they should have went into the booth to kind of look at, but I don't know if that's like a kind of thing that they do. I just think that once you call the flag, you know, I don't know. I thought it was a wrong call. I thought it was a right call. I thought it was a wrong call to change it. I think it would have made a better opportunity for football to, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I think it was the right call to not have the flag out there. But if I'm a Giants fan, I'm furious. And you could see Judge was furious, to say the least. And
absolutely.
Look, it's just, as a referee crew, you never want to be looking like that.
Nah.
But closer to Trevor Lawrence, some would say. We'll see. 1-7.
Look, actually, before we actually move on, if any Giants fans or any Giants players so happen to listen to this, I'm proud as a Giant fan. Y'all should be proud because there's a lot of bright sides to this. They played a really good team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into news.
What is going on here?
What is going on around the NFL? What is circling through the league? We try and bring you all the news that you need to know for fantasy football.
Yeah.
First up, Jonathan Taylor did not have a great game, found himself on our trash list this week. Maybe we found out the reason why. He's been dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury. That was the quote. Little bit of an ankle injury. Obviously, I'm putting on an accent, but that's a fun way to put it, you know? It's a fun little way to say someone's got an injury. Yeah, it's just a little bit of an ankle injury, you know? The team apparently did not know about it until after the game. It's not considered to be serious. However, Jonathan Taylor is going up against Baltimore this week. Might be a fade. We'll talk about that this week.
Absolutely.
Kenyon Drake What's happening? What's happening with Kenyon?
Look, unlikely to play this week. It's a very, very, very long shot. But look, Cliff Kingsbury actually said it looks like it's more severe than what they probably thought. So it's going to end up being hopeful. There's a lot of hope kind of coming in the end of it.
Yeah.
I think Drake,
Cliff's quote was very hard to decipher. It looked more severe than probably what is going to end up being more hopeful. Like, could we get... That is an actual quote. Those are not words that we've made up. But
yeah. I think Drake will come back in a timely fashion. I think maybe another week or two, I believe. Obviously, they just had a bye week. So I think maybe like I said, 1 or 2 more weeks. We'll see. George Kittle. And the 49ers as a whole, just... My goodness. It's terrible.
If you are a 49ers fan, yeah, it's happening. We're just going to give you a little bit of time to grieve and let out all the feelings wherever you are, 49er fans. Just breathe in and breathe out and say it's going to be okay, because hopefully it will. Obviously, George Kittle will be out 8 weeks minimum. You can probably drop him if you do not have IR spots in fantasy.
Yeah.
If you have IR spots, you should probably just put him in there, because if he does come back, obviously he's still going to be George Kittle.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, look, I don't see him returning this season. There's a lot of talks. Not a lot of talks. There was just obviously the reports kind of came out saying that, he's most likely going to miss, obviously, 8 weeks, like we just said. He's done.
Yeah.
I think he's done. You won't see him on the field again this year.
Think he's done for the year?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to come back.
What's going on with Jimmy G then?
That's a month, by the way, just to let you know. I mean, more than 8 weeks. Sorry, that's 2 months. The season's over.
I was like, what do your months look like?
Sorry, the season's over in 8 weeks. Anyways, Jimmy G.
Okay.
Sidelined indefinitely with a high ankle sprain. It looks like he might need to have surgery. It doesn't look like he's going to be in for the rest of the season either. Obviously, I think he's going to get a second opinion today sometime during this week, but I don't think he's playing, or he's confirmed out for the next game.
He's out indefinitely. We don't know exactly what that means, but it will probably mean that he's not going to be playing for a little while. But let's talk about Gardner Minshew, another quarterback having some issues. Okay, so there were talks before Gardner's injury, that there was going to be a quarterback change. However, they kind of don't even need to address it now because he's injured.
Yeah.
Right? So it looks like they're going to be going with Jake Luton. Tell us a little bit about Jake. Your boy Jake.
Good old Jakey. No, look, Jake, 6th round pick for the 2020. Drafted, obviously, he most likely will start this week. But, I mean, he was out of Oregon State. I really don't know this kid, to be honest. I haven't done my research enough to kind of understand who Jake Luton is, which I'll probably do the majority of this week.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he has a opportunity to show himself on this field and to see who he really is. But if that doesn't work out, then it's the giraffe himself, long neck Mike Glennon.
Oh no!
Who would have thought?
Yeah, look, I don't think anyone from the Jacksonville Jaguars organization is listening in. If you are, don't start Mike Glennon. Probably. Just give the kid Jake a chance, Jake from State Farm. Put it in safe hands. Jake from State Farm. That's what I'm saying. You know what? We need to keep in mind. Gardner Minshew was also drafted in the 6th round last year. Okay,
right.
So yeah, it is an unknown guy, but sometimes there's great quality in the end of the draft when it comes to a quarterback. But regardless, we're going to keep you up to date on all these injuries. Lots of COVID news has happened. What's the easiest way for you to stay up to date with injuries or anything fantasy related? Well, follow us on our social media accounts. Instagram's at FantasyLand Football, Twitter at FantasyLand_FB. You can watch us on YouTube, subscribe and hit the button the notification button, and you can listen to the podcast on any platform. That is the best way to stay up to date with this crazy season. There is some COVID news to talk about. So take us through it, Badaki.
That's right. Marlon Humphreys obviously tested positive. He is out for week 9 for the Baltimore Ravens. That's a huge hit on the defense there. And then also A.J. Dillon, they say surprise, I think. A.J. Dillon tested positive as well, which is out on Thursday Night Football. Obviously, they're going to be taking precaution in that running back room. Yeah. Jamal Williams could be in effect or could be affected by that. I don't know if Aaron Jones was in any meetings throughout the week or had any contact, which that could be interesting as well. Obviously, he was dealing with injuries. I'll be interested to see.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a part of the game that we have to get used to now. I think we are used to it as a fantasy community now. Just anything could happen at any day. 2 positive cases out of Arizona as well for the Cardinals. We don't know if it was players or staff, but they are practicing, so it must be under control. They must be within the NFL protocols. And trade deadline is today.
Oh, boy.
Will we see some moves?
We're going to see a lot of moves, I
4
believe.
4 p.m. The trade deadline hits at 4 p.m. I feel like there would have been a lot more moves by now, at least fantasy-relevant players. We have seen some defensive players move here and there, but we only really want to tell you about trades that will heavily affect fantasy football. Of course, like we said, we will be updating you on our socials with any trade deadlines that happen. But tell us about Patreon, Badaki. What does Patreon mean? We keep talking about Patreon. What does that mean? Is that a way for you to be patriotic about the USA? What is Patreon?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, go out and vote if you haven't. I think it's really important. Mm-hmm. That's a vote now. Mm-hmm. Obviously, voting day is today.
It's election day.
Yeah, election
day.
Huge day. So we'll definitely find out, hopefully, who's going to be the president. I'm not
Use your voice.
But yes, patreon.com/FantasyLand fam. Look, it's just another way to support the show, to get exclusive fantasy football content. We have 3 different tiers: close friends, which is just a way to support the show, kind of get to know us and be part of our close friends list, obviously. And then we have gold. Gold gives you a lot of more exclusive content. And then platinum gives you one-on-one, face interaction. We're going to help you try to win your fantasy league. So definitely looking, if you're not ready this year, next year is going to be a great opportunity. But patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.
Absolutely. We've been able to have some really cool conversations with some of the people who are already a part of the community there on Patreon. So anytime we say, if you want to support the show, that's the easiest way to do it. We appreciate everyone. This is what we want to do forever and ever and ever and ever. Forever. All right, let's talk what we're here to talk about, okay?
Just pick them up.
Pick him up. Waiver wire targets. Who should you be looking at picking up in the waivers today? Waivers are very important.
That's right.
Can't forget about the waivers. Look, here's what we try to do. We try to find people who are available in most leagues. So some guys might not be on this list because we probably assume that they've already been rostered. Your Travis Fulhams, Mike Williams, T. Higgins, Jermichael Hasty, and McKinnon. Probably on most people's leagues. So we're going to give you some waiver wire targets for the week. We're going to tell you if they're a priority, if they're not a priority, if you should be thinking about taking these guys or not. So, Badaki, why don't you start us off with our first waiver wire target?
That's right. Look, first waiver wire target for me is Marvin Jones. We saw, what he did in this past game. I think he had 2 touchdowns. But also, I think the big factor here is that Kenny G is out. He's out. He's week to week. He had that hip injury. And, hip injuries can be pretty severe. It can take a while for him to come back. Once you get tackled again, it could be, he's out for another 2-3 weeks. So look, obviously Kenny G is week to week, but Marvin Jones is the next guy up, and we saw that he's rostered in 54% of leagues. He could be available in your league. Obviously, that's over 50% of leagues. But if he's available, I will be sniping him personally. Also, just a shout out there, just to bring it to your attention, TJ Hawkinson could be a good trade asset this week. He could be on the trade for.
Okay.
We'll just give you a nice little sneak peek. His production will be going up as well now that Kenny G is out. But look, is Marvin Jones high for you, or how you feeling about him?
Well, we talked about this a little bit before the show because Marvin Jones had a chance to be very fantasy relevant when Golladay was out earlier in the year, and he didn't do anything. And you had alluded to that. Is this a guy that I'm really picking up? And I think he's not the highest priority,
right?
But he is a second or third waiver tab for me.
Okay.
He's probably not my first waiver, but if I miss the guy I want, I'm probably still putting a waiver in to see what I get for him. When it comes to fab, I'm not spending more than 10% of my fab.
Okay.
Maybe 5%. I know that's kind of greedy, but I think he could be relevant, but we've seen other guys step up instead of Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
For the Lions.
Yeah, I think that's why I just wanted to say TJ Hawkinson is a great opportunity here to get trade value from if you wanted to get him. I don't know, maybe you can find a trade. But
yeah, a little bit of a sneak peek for tomorrow's episode. Okay, Jordan Reed. Let's talk about Jordan Reed. Currently rostered in 2% of leagues. 2%. Wow. I'm not talking milk. I'm talking leagues. He's only rostered in 2%. Okay.
Where's the milk
George
companies
Kittle.
Give us some milk companies.
I like milk.
You like milk?
My favorite milk is the Horizon company. I don't know if you know Horizon, but that milk is it's so creamy. And I don't know. Some people think it's weird to drink a glass of milk, but I'm happy to drink a glass of milk and eat some Oreos if it's that Horizon milk. And all right, let's get for real. We're getting into fantasy land here. Oh, okay.
Oh,
chill. Okay, George Kittle confirmed out for 8 weeks. 8 weeks at minimum. Okay, Jordan Reed currently designated to return from IR. He should be practicing this week. Might play this week.
Right.
Here's the deal with the tight end market. It's so volatile that why not take a risk on a guy like Reed? The talent's always been there. It's just, and we've seen that even this year. He's been able to replace George Kittle before, and he did really well for this offense. But the question's always been, can he stay healthy?
Yes.
And of course, this is a risk when you pick up a waiver wire guy like this.
That's right.
Some other name that you need to be aware of is Ross Dwelley. He is the backup. If Jordan Reed is healthy, I don't see much value in Ross Dwelley, but a name for you to know, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Need to know news, maybe.
Yeah, look, I think that's my concern. If you're somebody in a position where your waiver wire priority isn't as high, or you don't have enough fab and you don't feel like, Jordan Reed is that person to spend your fab or waste a priority on, I think Ross Dwelley could be a deep pick. I know that sounds dumb. I might be leaning towards this in my own personal leagues just to see how it works. I can't trust Jordan Reed. I don't think anyone can really. I mean, he's so injury prone. I mean, I expect him to get on the field, second or third play, he's hurt. I know that sucks, and I know but that's something I'm thinking of. I'm not saying you guys should do it, but that's just a thought process. I want to put that in your head. I want you to think about it and then take it in a grain of salt.
Absolutely. I mean, I am a Washington football team fan, so I know all about Jordan Reed and his unfortunate injuries and how sad it's been. It's not a high priority on the waiver, but if it all comes together, this could be a big hit. Yeah. Probably the riskiest waiver that we're going to talk about, but maybe, just maybe, not the highest upside, but one of the highest upside guys we're going to bring to you. Yeah. If it works out in his favor.
Absolutely. Look, let's continue on here. We have two, actually. I have two for you, and I want you guys to decide this. I'll tell you who I personally would go with. But Gus Edwards.
2 for 1?
Yeah, Gus Edwards or J.K. Dobbins. And obviously, Gus Edwards left the game with a little bit of a knee injury. I personally think hopefully he'll be all right for next week. We still don't know the status of Mark Ingram. When we're going to find out if he's practicing today, later on. But look, Gus Edwards is owned in 30% of the leagues, and J.K. Dobbins is owned in 68%. So maybe J.K. Dobbins is not even available in your league, and you might have to lean towards Gus Edwards. But look, they both have pretty good games. Gus 16 carries, 87 yards and a touchdown. JK 15 carries and 113 yards. That's pretty good against this that Steelers defense.
JK looked nice.
Yeah, he
looked
did.
really good.
He's very explosive.
Really nice when he ran.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, and I think obviously this is the future. This is the future of this Ravens run game, and that's J.K. Dobbins.
Time is now.
The time is now. Where's that from? That's from a movie.
I don't know.
But J.K. Dobbins.
No, the time is now. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. J.K. Dobbins is my guy that I'll personally be picking up if he's available in any leagues. I think that this could be a great pickup for you, especially if you're dealing with, injuries. If maybe Aaron Jones is still not available, maybe, Jamal Williams is out with the COVID, whatever the case may be. I think J.K. Dobbins could be a really high priority if he's available in your leagues.
Yeah, I see that. I agree. J.K.'s probably, we just want to be clear. J.K.'s probably taken in your league.
Yeah,
but there's still 30+% where he is free, and people need to be aware of that. Gus Edwards is probably the guy that you're picking up if you're picking up one of these just because of availability. Mm-hmm. He is top 5 from this list of 10 in priority in my mind.
Absolutely.
But top 3, you know what? This is actually my biggest pickup of the week.
Oh, okay.
This is my number 1 priority of the week.
Okay.
And it sucks because this team is going on a bye, but it's a very talented player, and he fills a role that this team needs desperately. It is Jalen Reagor out of TCU, currently rostered in just 25% of leagues.
Wow.
25%? Are you kidding me? 25%. Okay. Are you kidding me? Just the voice gets higher.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay. The game yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 receptions on 6 targets, a touchdown in his return, but he looked like he was involved in the game plan, and I believe he's going to get a solid 7 to 10 targets a game going forward. I could be wrong, but I see him filling that D-Jax role. I think D-Jax, I don't know that D-Jax sees the field again this year.
Yeah.
He's had injuries.
I believe that.
The last however many years he's been dealing with injuries. I think Reagor is that guy now. And they're going to give him opportunities to be that guy. If he is the talented guy that we believe he is, and we have seen it already in the games he has played, he could fill a big role. All this talk about Philadelphia needs wide receivers, I'm sorry, but they've got their wide receiver 1 and 1A. And their wide receiver 1 and 1A is Travis Fulgham and Jalen Reagor. These guys are the wide receiver core for this team.
Yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey, I want Reagor over Alshon Jeffrey. Fulham, I probably want Fulham over Reagor, but you see kind of where I'm going with this. Reagor, the talent is there, the need is there. They are starting to get healthy as a team, so people won't be able to double team one of these guys. I think he is my number 1 priority if he's available in a league.
It's really interesting.
Am I crazy? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I think it's really interesting because I think of it in the perspective when everyone's healthy. So when Alshon comes back, he's healthy. When Zack is back, he's healthy. Obviously, Dallas Goedert just came back. And then they have Travis Fulgham, Jalen Reagor, Alshon Jeffrey. Who else do they have again?
Well, D-Jax they had, but he's not really
That's
there.
it.
Greg Ward
is
not really that guy.
Dallas Goedert. There's a lot of people that kind of is in this, melting pot, and I feel like this could be a Steelers situation where you don't know who's gonna be taken off one day or 1 week. It can be Deontay, it can be Juju, it can be Claypool. So I feel like Jalen Reagor can be, the Eagles offense, the Eagles wide receivers can be just like the Steelers receivers.
I get where you're coming from. Here's the difference. Jalen Reagor was a first-round pick. The Philadelphia Eagles this year decided that they had all these guys already.
Right.
They had all those wide receivers already. And they decided with our first pick, the most valuable asset we have, we're going to decide to use it on this guy. And when he's played, we've been able to see why. Those wide receivers were there. They could have used that pick on someone else.
For sure.
I think Jalen Reagor finishes the season. He's got top 30 upside. I know that doesn't sound crazy, but he's a very valuable trade piece if he does become the player that we want him to be.
Say no more. Jalen Reagor is Zach's number one priority of the week, some would say.
Mm-hmm.
My guy, coming back off of IR this week, should be good to go this week against the Niners on Thursday night. It's Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard, he's only rostered in 34% of leagues. Obviously, look, the first 3 weeks, he did all right. He scored two touchdowns out of those 3 games, which I think is pretty decent.
A breakout, some would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with an amazing quarterback. Maybe not a top 5 quarterback, but an amazing quarterback. Look, once again, he's coming back. He has a great connection with Aaron Rodgers. I think this is a good, low-end wide receiver to, a good flex position. He is not high priority for me. No, not high. But if he's available, I feel like he will be available in a lot of your leagues after waiver wire processes because a lot of people don't really know if he's coming off of IR. So Alan Lazard could be a nice little stash for you if he's available. Yeah. So take a look out there.
I like it. Okay, let's talk about this Colts backfield.
Oh, boy.
We got a 2-for-1 again. Another 2-for-1 backfield situation. Nyheim, Hines, and Jordan Wilkins. Okay. I want to say this before we get into this. Okay. I think you're going to be disappointed in these guys if you start them again. I'm just being realistic with you. I think if you pick one of these guys up and you decide to start them, I could be wrong, but I believe you will be disappointed in what you find. Now, Are you picking them up off the waiver? Of course you are. If someone puts up 20-plus points, of course you're going to have an opportunity to pick them up. I am personally going to choose Nyheim Hines over Wilkins if I had to choose one. Why? Well, Nyheim Hines is kind of that third down pass catching type back. And I think Jonathan Taylor is still the number one. I still think that Jonathan Taylor will have the bulk of the snaps. And that means that Hines is going to be the guy getting the passing downs. Yes, I know Jordan Wilkins had 23 carries, but pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, people.
Right.
Okay? I just don't believe that we're going to see a game better this year for Jordan Wilkins. He has probably had his best game as an NFL running back. Is that harsh?
No, it's not. It's so true, though.
Is that harsh? Tell me if I'm being harsh. No, seriously.
That's why I'm laughing. It's so true.
Yeah, and I just don't want you to get your hopes too high. Now, this is one of those situations where if I'm wrong, I am happy to hold my hands up and say, okay, yes, I was wrong. Mm-hmm. But in running back years, Jordan Wilkins is 26 years old. That's not really the time that you start to invest into a running back, into your game plan typically. Raheem Mostert's probably the one outlier there. But I just believe that Hines will hold value. I think Wilkins' value will drop significantly after this week. And you have to keep in mind, you're going to pick these guys up, and then they're going to face Baltimore. And that's really not someone you want to start a really risky running back against, is it?
Absolutely. Look, I don't know why we might be. I don't even know why they're on the list. We could have won. I think the only reason why they're on the list is because these guys, they actually performed. And we believe that Jonathan Taylor is a number one running back out there, but we don't want you guys to miss the opportunity. So definitely take this with a grain of salt. You're right. I'd be taking Nyheim's high over Jordan Wilkins personally. That's the thought process.
I think the priority is not high for me. It's right. I'll take a shot on this guy, but someone probably views him high in your league. So
yeah,
don't spend too much fab on him either. They're not in a situation. If Jonathan Taylor went down, that's a different conversation, but he's still there. That's just how I feel.
So, quick question: if Jonathan Taylor is not okay to go for next week, hypothetically, he re-injures whatever injury he had throughout the week. Who you getting?
I don't even want to think about a world that I have to live in like that. But go ahead.
Who are you
I'm
taking?
just so for the players.
Who are you taking?
I'm honestly, if that happens and he's not playing, I'm taking Wilkins because I know he'll have the bulk of the carries. But the reason I'm telling you not to get Wilkins on the waiver is because I think JT is going to be there, and I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries. And I think Hines is actually a guy who fills a role that they need. Each game he has a chance to be relevant, not depending on if Jonathan Taylor is there or not.
Okay. Say no more. My guy here,
And I won't say anything else.
I love this guy. I absolutely adore this man. I might have a man crush on him. His name's Zack Moss. And let me tell you why. One, because he's on my team. Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two, I believe he's the better running back in the Buffalo Bills running back room. I believe he's a better running back than Devin Singletary. I believe he is stronger. He is faster. He has better vision. I mean, this is the downfall when it comes to Zack Moss. He's rostered in 54% of the leagues. Okay, that's the downfall. That means there's a chance that you're not going to be able to get this guy because he's either owned or he's just owned. Really, look, I love Zack Moss. If you watch that game, Zack Moss was breaking out for runs. Okay, number one. There's no better way I can really say it, is that I believe he's a better back. That's all I can say. I believe he's a better back, and if you don't believe me, please look at the tape. Look at the New England game when Devin Singletary, when he got hurt. Obviously, Devin Singletary got the majority of the runs, the majority of the carries, whatever the case may be. He actually took off in not the first two games, but in the first game, obviously he played the Jets, so he had the touchdown. They won that game. Blah blah blah. But it looks like he's going to be splitting carries with Devin Singletary. He had 14 carries and Singletary had 15. That's a clear split. And he had the goal line carries. Yeah. He had the goal line carries. I mean, that's a +2, man. He had the goal line carries. Zack Moss, if he's not on your team, get him on your team. He is.
Okay.
I'm a bit passionate about this. Look, okay, before you get him on your team and you do something ridiculous, let me stop you by saying I would only get him if maybe you're struggling with running backs. For me, he is in the top maybe 6 of this list. Personally, I think that he could be a great asset for your team later on down the road because I believe that I think his schedule is interesting to me. He's playing Seattle, Arizona, the Chargers, Denver, New England, Miami. Like, these are the teams that he's going to be playing again. So there's promise there, personally.
Yeah, I think Zack is pretty high on the priority this week for me. He's not in my top 2. He might tie for my 3rd, but I get it. Let's talk about Corey Davis. Okay, Corey Davis. This is very surprising to me.
Yeah.
He's only rostered in 36% of ESPN leagues. I went through different types of leagues because I wanted to see exactly what they looked like. In Yahoo, he's rostered in 47% of leagues. In NFL, it's around the same as ESPN.
Right.
And that's a little bit shocking to me because I feel like Corey Davis has shown that he can be not a weekly start, but a trade piece, and 2, a guy you could potentially start if you're in a bind and you need someone.
Right.
He's had pretty consistent targets, and the only reason he's not my number 1 is just because I feel like he's the 3rd wide receiving option there, and I think this week, not the 3rd, sorry. Obviously, he's a 2nd, but I think Jonnu Smith is, and I know it's so hard to say because it doesn't look like it, but I feel like they want to use Jonnu Smith more than they have been. And if you watch that game, it was very obvious that they had a game plan going in to use Corey Davis. I don't know what it was. They had seen something in tape that they wanted to utilize Corey this game.
Right.
And obviously they did that. He had the 128 yards and a touchdown. His best game in a very long time. I think you can potentially start to flex him if this continues. He is high on the priority. He's probably my second highest priority guy because of the consistency that you've already seen. The talent's always been there. He's never been able to put it together. Maybe this is the year where he can actually put it together. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I'm an AJ Brown owner, so like looking at this is like it makes me second guess is all AJ's targets kind of leaning more towards Corey Davis, and I need to see one more week of this personally. I still believe Corey Davis is a good pickup. Don't get me wrong. I believe you're right. He could be a good flex option if you're in a bind. I think that this is somebody that you can plug into your team. I think I need to see one more game of this, and this is going to be a good game for Corey Davis because he's playing the Chicago Bears. I think that this is going to be a great matchup for this wide receiver core, and obviously, these DBs. I need to see one more week to generally say, I think Corey Davis,
I get that,
could be a solid number 2, could be a solid receiver for this Tennessee Titans offense.
Yeah, and I'd be lying to you if I said that he was the second most talented wide receiver there. Because you know how I feel about Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
I know it's been weird, but I think Jonnu Smith is essentially a wide receiver playing tight end.
Yeah.
And I actually think Jonnu is the more talented player than Corey Davis. I think obviously AJ is by far the most talented wide receiver option there. I think AJ is still the wide receiver 1.
Yes.
Part of this is game plan, and that's why I'm a little bit not, he's not my number 1 guy because I think it was a game plan they had going in to utilize him that way, which might not be the case every game.
Yeah, you're right. One more thing. I also believe that the Bengals game planned around Jonnu Smith and A.J. Brown to kind of lock them down because they know once they get them rolling, it's hard to stop them. My thought process there.
Yeah.
My last priority for me, my list, my waiver wire selection is Curtis Samuel. Obviously, we saw what he did on Thursday night against the Falcons. He ran one in, he caught one, a touchdown. That's what I'm talking about. His last 3 games, he's averaging 16 points per game, which is pretty high for, a wide receiver 3. Technically, like that's pretty high. Obviously, Robbie's number 1 out there.
Yeah.
DJ Moore clearly number 2, and now Curtis Samuel is coming into the mix. He's rostered in 37% of fantasy leagues. He's definitely going to be available, I believe, after your waiver wire selection, unless you have a Panthers fan out there.
Yeah.
I believe. So he's not really high on priority. I wouldn't be spending any fab on him personally. But is this something that you expect from him every week? That's a big question here. I mean, he did this 3 games.
This might be my least. I think we go through the list together every week. I think this might be my least favorite waiver wire of the week.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
No, Alan Lazard's probably my least favorite. I do think Curtis Samuel is my second least favorite. And the reason is, sure, they're going to keep using him in the backfield when CMC is back. Sure. Yeah. Which means he'll probably get 2 to 3 snaps in the backfield, 2 to 3 carries in the backfield.
Right.
Yeah, Mike Davis is going to be part of the game plan for sure. He might see 5 to 7 carries. I just don't think that when CMC is back, they're going to make Curtis Samuel a priority in this offense after Robbie Anderson, after DJ Moore. You really think that he's going to even be is he even the 4th best option there with Mike Davis? I just don't. He's not a high priority for me.
Yeah.
And he is not someone I'm looking personally to have a waiver wire pickup for.
I agree.
And definitely, like you said, no fab. Let's talk about our last waiver wire target for week 9. Dallas Goedert. Goedert. I don't know how exactly you say it. We've always said it Goedert.
Goedert. Right. Goedert. Joe Goedert.
Goedert.
Oh boy, that could be a little saying. Dallas Joe Goedert. Maybe too much. Maybe too much. I don't know.
I'm lost. All right, look, here's the deal. Okay, Dallas Goedert is not rostered in a very high % of leagues currently. maybe that's because of his injury. And he obviously just came off the IR. He's currently rostered in 42% of leagues. And you might think, oh, that is kind of high. But it's not really high for a starting tight end. Zach Ertz is out. We don't know how long it'll take for him to be out. But here's the thing with Dallas Goedert. He played 80% of the snaps on Sunday. His first game back from the IR. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is he had 1 reception and 1 target. This was a bad game in general for the Philadelphia Eagles, okay?
Right.
He could need time to just adjust to the game plan, but let's not forget about what Goedert was doing when he was healthy in the first couple weeks. He's not my highest priority, but he's probably my 4th highest waiver priority of the week. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I feel the same. Look, I think out of the tight ends that we have, obviously, Dallas Goedert or Jordan Reed, I'll definitely be choosing Dallas Goedert over Jordan Reed personally. I think that we need to see how it turns out. We need to see if his production is going to go up. Obviously, he came out balling the first 2-3 weeks in the year. Yeah. We need to see if that's going to be something that's going to happen soon, and it needs to happen like now. So we have to wait and see.
I agree. Obviously, Jalen, Reagor, Dallas Goedert have the bye this week, so it is unfortunate, but it could be a long-term payoff. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the show. Waiver Wire Targets Week 9.
Huge.
Hopefully, we brought you, some Waiver Wire Targets, something to think about. But our next episode, you do not want to miss the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring. That's our fantasy football league. We are going to give you an update on that, the league latest, and some trade targets for Week 9. Always a little bit controversial, but we believe we hit more than we miss. That's kind of been our motto lately. It's just we just want to hit more than we miss, honestly, right?
That's right.
And of course, we're going to be talking about Thursday night football. Go ahead.
No, you're right.
You tried to interrupt me. Go ahead.
No, you're right. I believe in that we hit more than we miss. Thursday night football.
Yeah. Thursday night football. You can tell we got it together here. Do not miss the next episode. It's going to be a good one. Thank you so much for listening. By the way, you do still have time, to sign up for the George Kittle signed jersey giveaway. Head to our Instagram at FantasyLand Football to see how to enter there. We love you, Fantasyland fam. Have a great Tuesday.
Oh boy.
And we'll see you tomorrow. As always, see you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.